Welcome back to my channel. This is one of my students' practical work and I decided to film it for you guys. Let's go straight to the measurement. The main panel contains two parts. The first part measures 16.5 by 9.5 inches. The outside panel measures 4 inches by 16.5 inches. The bottom panel measures 6 inches by 10.5 inches. 6 plus 10.5 will give you 16.5 inches. As for the placement of the bottom studs, you are just going to take 2.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Once you've cut out the template using this measurement, you are just going to use them to cut out your bag interfacing. To know how to press or iron your bag interfacing to your fabric, you have to watch the video of the tote bag I uploaded before. I'm going to be leaving it up here, so watch it to know how you are going to iron your interfacing to your fabric. To sew the outside panel to the main panel, you are just going to lay them side by side, ensuring that the right side of the outside panel faces the right side of the main panel. I actually forgot to film it, so I had to use the old video there to demonstrate how to do it. In this case, I'm sewing at 1/2 inch seam allowance. I've marked it out with a pen. Once you finish sewing, you're just going to top stitch on it. Time to fix the bag stands. Remember the measurement I gave was 2.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So what you do, you just poke some holes on those marks and you're going to cut with your seam ripper. Then you put your bag stud bottom panel. So guys, you're just going to fold your bottom panel into two and cut notches on the middle of the bottom panel. Okay, so once you've cut the notches, you're going to lay the bottom panel with the right side facing the right side of the main panel that has the outside panel sewed to it, ensuring that the notch on the bottom panel is on the notch on the main panel. So right now she's sewing on that barrow mark, which is 1/2 seam allowance. Once she finished sewing, she's just going to fold and top stitch on the bottom panel. Guys, she has sewn the first bottom panel to the main panel. Now she's sewing the second bottom panel to the main panel. So she's just sewing on the seam allowance, which is 1/2 inches. Okay, so she has marked it out with a pen. So once she finishes sewing on that line, she's still going to bend and top stitch on the bottom panel. So the two side panels have been sewn to the bottom panel. So guys, it's time to prepare for the handle holder. And the handle holder, we are going to need 4 of them. Each of them measure 1 inch by 3 inches. To prepare for the handle holder, you're just going to cut out 3 by 1 inch for the interfacing. Then you place on the fabric you are using, ensuring that you have about 1 inch or 1/2 inch excess. So you are going to press that excess onto the interfacing. It's time to prepare for the handles of the bag. So each of the handle measures 19 inches by 4 inches. So guys, a lightweight interfacing has been ironed on the wrong side of each of the handles. Okay, this interfacing is also called stain and it's just one layer. She has marked out 2 inches in the middle of each of it and 1/2 inch on the other edge. She's just going to fold towards the middle and fold again just to hide the raw edges for the handle. Then she's going to top stitch on one of the side of the handles. So the next thing she's going to be doing, guys, is to get the position where the handle holders are going to be, which is going to be 4.5 inches by 1.5 inches. To get a straight sewing, guys, you're just going to place your bag handle holder in the middle of that mark that you have marked out. Then sew a boss stitch around it. She has been able to sew one of them on the main panel, so she's going to do the other 3 now. Then thereafter she's going to be sewing the handles to the bag. So guys, what she's doing now, she's sewing one of the handles to the bag. She has finished sewing the handle, she's just cutting out the thread. So what she's doing now, she's trying to sew the size of the bag. She has marked out ½ inches, and she's going to be sewing on that mark that she has made from up to down. So you can do the same, just mark out ½ inches and sew. So before you sew, make sure you back stitch first to secure your work. All right. So guys, once she gets done, she's going to back stitch, then close the back. So now she's trying to sew the bottom close. So once you've taken the right measurement, everything just going to fall in place. She's going to sew the two bottom parts that have not been closed. She's going to sew them closed now. So to sew this part closed, there is ½ inch mark made on the bottom panel. She's just going to sew on that mark, and she's going to sew very close to the stabilizer. Okay, for the bottom, I actually stabilize it with 2 layers of leathers because I wanted the bottom to be very hard. All right, so once you just get to the end, you're just going to back stitch severally there. She has finished sewing. She's just going to turn the back inside out right now. So when turning the bag inside out, make sure you poke your fingers into the corner to get the right shape of the bag. So it's time to sew the zipper panel. The zipper panel measures 10 inches by 2 inches, and the zipper measures 13 inches in length. In this case, guys, I intentionally cut the zipper panel line a bit bigger, like ½ inch bigger. So guys, I've sewn one part of the zipper panel to it, so I'm just going to be sewing the second side. To sew the zipper panel, just ensure that the right side of your zipper is at the right side of the external, and you are going to mark out ½ inches from the top because we are going to be bending the zipper in order to hide the raw edges, just like this as seen on the video. So after sewing the zipper to the external, you're going to take the lining and sew to it. If you can sew the three at once, better. You can just pin the three together and sew at once. But if you are a beginner, I would advise you to sew it one after the other. So after sewing the zipper to the external, you take your lining. The right side is still going to face the right side of the external panel. So you turn and make sure you sew on the previous stitch as seen on the video. So once you've sewn, you are just going to top stitch on the zipper panel. Guys, before you top stitch, I would advise you to clip them in place first, just like this. You just fold and clip it in place. That will make it easy for you to sew. If you cannot clip, you can also iron first before you sew. Make sure that your lining gets to the down of it. Make sure that everything is sewed together. So you are going to clip them to sew around the panel. So once you finish sewing, you just trim off the excess lining. It's better for you to get excess lining than when the lining is smaller. In that case, you will have to restart again, because when it's smaller, that means your work is badly done. So it's just, I would advise you to always cut your lining the same size, or better still, you cut it a bit bigger than the external. Now it's time to fix the zipper stopper. This measures 3 inches by 1.5 inches. So I've cut out leather that measures 3 inches by 1.5 inches. You put it on the fabric. You are using the wrong side of the fabric after applying gum. So you leave excess, which you are going to be using to fold in, just like this. This is the zipper stopper, guys. Apply a bit of gum on the leather, then gum it to the zipper and clip in place like this. After that, she's just going to sew a box shape stitch around the zipper stopper. So we finish with the zipper panel, and it's time to sew the zipper panel. So the lining, fold it into 2 and cut a notch. And also you're going to fold the zipper, the already prepared zipper panel, you fold it into 2. You're also going to cut notches on both sides. So you're going to put the zipper panel on the lining, ensuring that the notch on the zipper panel is on the notch on the lining. Okay, so you do the same thing, cut a notch on this other side. So we are going to sew now. Guys, she's basically top stitching on it with the edge of the foot on the edge of the external, as you can see. Once it's finished sewing the zipper panel, you're just going to sew the top asset panel to the lining by laying the right side of the asset panel to the right side of the lining. So once you finish sewing that, you're just going to top stitch, just as seen on this video. So guys, she's going to cut a notch on the second lining, and she's going to sew to the zipper panel. So guys, what she's trying to do, she's trying to sew the top asset panel to the zipper panel. Before you sew, make sure you clip them so that they don't move out of place. To sew the top asset panel to the zipper panel, she ensured that the right side, which is the external part of the asset panel, is on the zipper panel, and she's going to sew on that line, the 1/2 inch seam allowance marked out. Thereafter, she's just going to top stitch on the asset panel as seen on the video. It's time to sew the lining closed from the top to the down, so you ensure that the asset panels on both lining are matching. Make sure you clip them together first. The last part is sewing the bottom part of the lining to the main panels. She's just going to fold into 2 accord notches on them. So guys, when sewing, you are not going to sew everything. I'm going to leave about 5 inches of the bottom panel opened. You are going to leave some parts of the bottom panel opened. Remember, we are still going to be turning the bag inside out, so you are not sewing everything close now. So once she has sewn the bottom panel to the lining, she's just going to put the external bag into the lining with the right side of the external faced to the right side of the lining. Okay. She's trying to match the same line of the external to that of the lining. So if you also have pins, you can use pins if you don't have clips. So just ensure you clip around so that it doesn't give you any challenges by the time you are sewing them together. She has to measure out ½ inches where she's sewing on right now. Normally I wouldn't do that, I'll just eyeball it. So she has measured out ½ inch seam allowance and she's sewing on it. So guys, she's just going to sew around it. She's finished sewing and she's cutting out the thread. She's trying to bring out the external part of the bag. All right, take pains so that you don't tear your lining. She actually did this in haste and part of the lining was a bit torn. Okay. She's trying to fold them in and clip them. She's going to top stitch. Then once she has finished top stitching, she's just going to sew the part of the bottom panel for the lining that we left open. She's just going to sew it close. If you are top stitching for a tote bag like this, ensure you start sewing from the outside so you can see your stitches. Okay, sew from the outside. Most people also sew from the inside, but I will advise you to sew from the outside. Ensure that the edge of the machine foot is at the edge of the part of the fabric she's top stitching. So in top stitching, you just have to take pains to do that. Remember, this is an external stitch and it has to look very neat and professional, so you take pains when top stitching. So before you top stitch, you can either pin them in place or just use your clips and see what I was telling you guys about. So when she was trying to turn the external inside out, that part of the lining got torn, so you just have to be careful when doing yours. She's just going to neatly fold that part, that torn part in, and top stitch everything together. Guys, if you want to watch more Afrocentric studding structured Ankara tote bag, Mazi Ankara tote bag, I'm going to be leaving a playlist link at the right top corner of this video where you can watch more Afrocentric structured Ankara tote bag. Okay. Make sure you use a red thread as well in order to match with your lining colors. Bag is done. You can see how beautiful it turned out. Very fine. I love it. So she did a very good job. So I'm just going to unzip the bag. Thanks for watching today's video, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe to my channel. Give this particular video a thumbs up if you like it, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell to get notified. Love you guys to the moon and back. Have a nice day and bye.